Chosen one, anchor your spirit to every word I'm about to speak. That question you have been carrying this week, the one you have not said out loud to anyone, stop running from it and let it land. The universe has been working overtime in your direction for one reason, and one reason only. It heard you. It all shifts now. The waiting, the wondering, the silence you have been interpreting as abandonment. But here is what you need to understand before we go any further. This shift is not arriving because things finally aligned by chance. It is arriving because of what you did, because of what you chose, because of the version of yourself you decided to become, even when no one was watching and nothing was working. Think back to that moment this week when you almost gave up asking, when you almost stopped believing that anything was listening, when you whispered that question into the dark, maybe out loud, maybe just in your mind, and then told yourself it was foolish to expect an answer. You did not know it then, but that moment of raw honesty was not weakness. That was the activation. That was the prayer that moved something in the spiritual realm that no force on this earth can undo. You did not find this message by accident. The algorithm did not bring you here. The universe did. This is a divine appointment, scheduled long before this moment was ever on your calendar. You are not here because you were scrolling. You are here because something heard your question and sent you an answer. Stay until the very last word of this message. In the next few minutes, I am going to show you the exact sign you asked for and how to recognize it with absolute clarity. I am going to walk you through the divine audit of your recent season so you can see the places where the universe was moving on your behalf, even when everything felt still. And at the end, I am going to give you the declaration that seals your alignment and confirms the direction you have been afraid to commit to. Do not leave early. The version of you that has been praying for confirmation is standing at the edge of receiving it. If you scroll away now, you walk away right before the verdict is read. I know what the last 72 hours have felt like. The atmosphere around you has not been neutral. It has been charged, heavy, in a way that is hard to explain to someone who has not felt it. Like something is about to break open, but it has not yet, and the waiting is pressing against your ribs from the inside. Maybe you have been moving through your days this week, going through every motion on the outside, while something deep inside you keeps returning to the same question. Is this it? Is this the right path? Is any of this working? Or maybe you woke up at 3 inches the morning this week and instead of going back to sleep, you just lay there in the dark, feeling the weight of everything you are still carrying, wondering how much longer you are supposed to hold it. Or perhaps you found yourself completely alone for a moment, maybe in the shower, maybe in your car, and something in you just broke open quietly, and you said it. You finally said it. You asked for a sign. And then the next day came and it felt like nothing changed, and the enemy moved in immediately. Because in that silence, in that space between your request and the answer, the enemy has been whispering a very specific lie. He has been telling you that your silence from the universe is a verdict, that the absence of an obvious, dramatic, undeniable sign means the universe is not listening, or worse, that it listened and decided you were not worth answering. He has been replaying moments from the last few months and pointing at them as evidence. That relationship that ended, that plan that fell apart, that door that closed without explanation. The accuser is stitching those moments together into a story that says you are on the wrong path, that you missed your window, that you prayed too late or asked for too much. But I need you to hear what the truth actually says about this moment. Romans 8:28 says, "And we know that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose." All things, not the convenient things, not the things that made sense at the time. All things. That door that closed is in that promise. That plan that collapsed is in that promise. That silence you have been living in is in that promise. The universe does not waste a single moment of your story. Every piece is being woven with intention, including the parts that looked like loss. You are not being ignored. You are being positioned. The heaviness you feel right now is not the weight of being forgotten. It is the weight of something enormous preparing to land. It is the pressure that comes right before a breakthrough that is too big to arrive quietly. You thought the silence meant nothing was happening. But silence is what the universe sounds like when it is building something that requires its full attention. You did not miss your sign. You are standing inside of it right now. This message is the answer. This moment is the confirmation. The fact that something in you stopped, something in you clicked, something in you said, "I need to hear this." That was not coincidence. That was coordination. That was the universe leaning in and saying, "Here, this is for you. This is what you asked for. Now receive it." You are not behind. You are not disqualified. You are not too late. You are exactly where the entire universe has been working to bring you. You didn't stumble onto this message by accident. Nothing about where you are right now is coincidence, not the timing, not the silence you've been sitting in, not the questions that kept pulling you back even when you tried to let them go. There's a sacred geometry to every moment, a divine choreography that arranges circumstances and whispers truth into the quiet corners of your soul. The universe doesn't waste signs on people who aren't ready to receive them, or on souls whose spirit isn't poised for a profound awakening. And the fact that you're still here, still searching, still pressing through the spiritual fog, still listening intently, even when the noise of the world tries to drown out the sacred melody within you, that means something. It means everything. It means you are being drawn, magnet-like, to a revelation that has been waiting for you, a truth that will unlock a deeper layer of your purpose. Some messages don't just inform, they activate. They don't merely present data. They ignite a dormant fire, a long-held knowing deep in the core of your being. If something stirred deep in your spirit just now, if a resonance vibrated through your soul, a sense of recognition, like a forgotten memory returning, you may be ready to receive the Chosen One's blueprint. This is not just a guide. It is a sacred key, meticulously designed to unlock the chambers of your divine understanding. It reveals the 8 divine patterns behind your calling, the often misunderstood purpose behind your suffering, and the magnificent blueprint of your destiny, unfolding layer by sacred layer. It's a map, not to a destination, but to the truest version of yourself. It also comes with the full audiobook, so you can absorb its profound truths during your moments of prayer, allowing its wisdom to seep into your subconscious during peaceful rest, letting its insights repattern your energetic field, or during quiet moments with God, where the veil between worlds thins and divine downloads are most readily received. And for those called to speak His truth with courage and clarity, those bearing a weightier anointing to pierce through illusion, you'll also receive Activating Your Prophet Mantle, a powerful bonus ebook specifically crafted for those carrying a prophetic assignment, designed to equip and empower you for the sacred work ahead. The link to embark on this transformative journey is in the first pinned comment, but only for a limited time, a brief window of opportunity before this particular energetic portal begins to close. Now, let's go deeper, far beneath the surface of fleeting circumstance, because what most people never discover, what remains hidden in plain sight, is the profound reason they keep missing the signs that were sent specifically for them. It's not because the signs weren't there, like whispers on the wind, like breadcrumbs on a path. They were. They always were, woven into the fabric of your everyday life, pulsating in the quiet promptings of your heart, echoing in serendipitous encounters. No, it's because somewhere along the way, often subtly, often insidiously, you were taught to distrust your own perception, to doubt the very compass heaven placed within you. You were told you were too sensitive, your spiritual antennae too finely tuned for this harsh world. You were labeled too intense, your passion for truth deemed too consuming. You were told you were simply too much, too emotional, too intuitive, too visionary, and so you learned to dim your light, to shrink your magnificent spirit. And in doing so, you learned to second-guess the very instincts, the very subtle nudges, the very deep knowing that heaven gave you to navigate this intricate, often challenging life. You began outsourcing your discernment, seeking validation and direction from people who were never assigned to your destiny, whose spiritual maps were not calibrated for your unique path. And slowly, quietly, like a tide receding from the shore, you stopped trusting the resonant, unwavering voice inside you, the inner oracle, the divine whisper that was never, ever wrong. You silenced the very guide meant to lead you through the wilderness, mistaking its clarity for arrogance or its boldness for folly. Think about Elijah in the wilderness. This was a man who had just called down fire from heaven, a spectacle of divine power witnessed by an entire nation. A man so intimately connected to the divine that rain responded to his prayers and drought bowed to his sovereign word. He had faced down 450 prophets of Baal on Mount Carmel, a titan of faith and divine authority. And yet, in 1 Kings 19, after such a monumental victory, he found himself utterly depleted, sitting under a broom tree in the stark wilderness, utterly alone, and asked God to take his life. This was not because he was fundamentally weak, not because his faith had suddenly evaporated, but because he had spent so long pouring out, giving of himself without ceasing, that he forgot how to receive. He had become so laser-focused on the intensity of the spiritual battle, on being the conduit of God's power, that he stopped recognizing the profound, quiet provision already surrounding him, the very breath sustaining him, the earth beneath his feet. He saw only the exhaustion, the threat from Jezebel, the crushing weight of his assignment. And what did the compassionate Father do in that moment of profound despair? He didn't rebuke him with fiery words. He didn't send a grand sermon on resilience or spiritual warfare. No. He sent something far more tangible, far more tender. He sent an angel, a messenger of pure compassion, to touch him gently. He sent bread, baked fresh by divine hands, representing sustenance for the body and soul. He sent water, cool and refreshing, to quench the deep thirst of his spirit. He sent rest, allowing Elijah to sleep twice, demonstrating that true spiritual strength is often found in surrender and replenishment, not ceaseless striving. And then, with profound wisdom and gentle urgency, he said, "Get up and eat, for the journey is too great for you to make it on the strength you have left." This was not a command, but a lifeline, an invitation to receive before the next phase of his sacred calling could unfold. That's precisely where you are right now. The journey ahead, the divine blueprint unfolding before you, is too significant, too expansive, too demanding of your whole, integrated self for you to carry it on the depleted reserves you've been running on. You've been operating on fumes, on the residue of past victories, on sheer willpower. And the first, most foundational thing that has to shift within your spiritual architecture is the deeply ingrained, often subconscious, belief that you need to earn your way into divine support. You don't. It was already there. It's been there, like the invisible atmospheric pressure that holds the world together, like the steady pulse of the sun, like the unwavering force of gravity. The universe, in its boundless intelligence and unconditional love, didn't begin rooting for you only when you got it together, when you presented a polished, perfect version of yourself. It was rooting for you before you were formed in your mother's womb, before the first breath of life entered your lungs, as Jeremiah 1-5 proclaims, Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. It was rooting for you before you had a name, before you embarked on this earthly journey, before you made every single mistake you've replayed in your mind 1,000 times, before you collected every regret, before you became the person you're still apologizing for being, to yourself and to others. The support was never conditional. It was woven into your very existence, a foundational truth. You just stopped seeing it, stopped feeling it, stopped believing it, because the pervasive, numbing pain of your experiences, the relentless pressure of life's trials, made everything else invisible, shrouding the landscape of your divine provision in a thick, impenetrable fog. But here's where the revelation goes even deeper, penetrating layers of self-deception and spiritual inertia. It's not just that you stopped seeing the ever-present, unwavering divine support. It's that, in its place, you subconsciously constructed and adopted a story. A deeply entrenched, often tragic, narrative about why things don't work out for you. A story about what you're fundamentally not, what you continuously missed, what's been unfairly taken from you, what you were robbed of. And that story, once accepted, became more than just a narrative. It became a permanent lens, a skewed filter through which every new experience, every new opportunity, every new relationship got filtered, distorted, and ultimately diminished. So when a door miraculously opened, shimmering with divine possibility, you didn't step through it in faith. You instinctively waited for it to inevitably close, convinced it was merely a cruel illusion. When someone, divinely appointed, genuinely offered help, you didn't receive it with gratitude. You scoured their intentions, looking for the hidden catch, the eventual cost, the inevitable betrayal. When something truly felt like breakthrough, a shift in the cosmic currents, you didn't celebrate it. You braced for the inevitable disappointment, the sudden fall, the rug being pulled from beneath you. You weren't being consciously pessimistic, not in your own mind. You were being self-protective, building fortresses around a wounded heart. But protection, when it becomes a rigid, ingrained posture, a permanent stance against the universe, starts to look exactly like unbelief. It hardens the heart, dims the eyes, and deafens the ears to the very signs you're praying for. And unbelief, this unyielding spiritual resistance, will keep you perpetually camped outside of every single promise that was already prepared, already decreed, already waiting for you to step into and claim. It's like standing on the shore, dying of thirst, while surrounded by an ocean of fresh water, convinced it's all salt. This is where the real turning point begins, the pivot point of your spiritual evolution. Because genuine, profound transformation doesn't start with frantically doing something differently. It starts, always, with seeing something you couldn't perceive before, a truth previously obscured by pain or programming. And what you need to see with absolute clarity right now is this. The delay in your life, those agonizing periods of waiting and seemingly stalled progress, was never rejection. It was, instead, a profound, precise, and often painful process of refinement. There is a cosmic, critical difference, a chasm of spiritual understanding between a door that is permanently closed because it was never truly yours to begin with, a path God deliberately reroutes you from, and a door that is temporarily closed because you are still being meticulously prepared, strengthened, and purified for what glorious, expansive reality lies on the other side. Most people, in their haste and their hurt, cannot discern this crucial difference, so they walk away from the very threshold heaven was about to dramatically open, interpreting the divine pause as a definitive no. They interpret silence from God as abandonment, a cruel withdrawal of His presence. They interpret waiting as a form of punishment, a consequence for some unknown transgression. But what if the silence, the deafening quiet of the wilderness, was actually intricate, divine surgery? operating on the deepest parts of your soul, removing calcified wounds, excising old programming, preparing you for a vessel capable of holding more? What if the waiting, the agonizing, stretched-out moments of anticipation was the sacred work itself, forging resilience, deepening faith, building character, cultivating wisdom in ways that only stillness and patience can? Look at David, the shepherd boy anointed king. Between the miraculous prophetic moment when Samuel poured oil over his head, designating him God's chosen leader, and the actual tangible moment he finally sat upon the throne of Israel, years, long, arduous years, passed. Years of hiding in desolate caves, existing as a fugitive. Years of being relentlessly hunted by the very man, King Saul, who was supposed to mentor him, to celebrate him, to prepare him, but instead sought to destroy him. Years of watching God's magnificent promise feel not like a divine assurance, but like a cruel, cosmic joke, a distant, mocking echo. But what precisely happened in those lonely, shadowed caves? David didn't just survive, he was forged. He learned to worship God in the deepest, most desperate moments, when there was absolutely nothing discernible to celebrate, when his very life hung by a thread, turning his pain into psalms. He learned to war against enemies, both external and internal, when he had no formal army, relying solely on God's strength and strategy. He learned to lead himself, to discipline his spirit, to commune intimately with God before he was ever trusted to lead an entire nation. The cave, far from being his prison, was his profound, sacred preparation. It was the crucible that burned away all superficiality and refined his spirit. And what ultimately emerged from that cave, blinking into the light, was not just a king, not merely a political leader, but a man after God's own heart, a leader whose spirit resonated deeply with the divine, a ruler tempered by suffering, deeply compassionate and uniquely equipped to fulfill his destiny. The cave you've been sitting in, the spiritual wilderness you've traversed, the season of unseen struggle and uncelebrated resilience has been doing the very same thing to you. It has been refining, shaping, strengthening, and preparing you for a quantum leap forward. And what's coming next, the next phase of your divine unfolding, may surprise you, shattering your preconceived notions of what your future holds. It usually does at this critical juncture. So stay with me, keep your heart open, for the deepest truths are often found just beyond our expectations. Because once you fully accept, with every fiber of your being, that the delay you experienced was not a dismissal, not a rejection, but rather a purposeful divine formation, a masterful sculpting of your soul for a greater purpose, something else, equally profound, equally necessary, has to occur. You have to consciously, intentionally, and lovingly grieve what you thought your life was supposed to look like by now. This is the often overlooked, deeply uncomfortable, yet utterly essential part most people skip, and it costs them everything, leaving them perpetually bound. They try to move forward, to leap into their next chapter, without truly releasing the deep-seated grief, the quiet sorrow, and so they unconsciously carry the immense weight of an unlived expectation, a phantom future, into every new season, every new opportunity. They stand physically at the threshold of their next glorious chapter, poised for breakthrough, but emotionally, spiritually, energetically, they are still living in the chapter that didn't end the way they meticulously planned, the story that veered off course. You cannot step fully, freely, powerfully into what's ahead, into the magnificent landscape of your destiny, while you are still mourning what didn't happen behind you, what was lost, what was broken. That grief, those tears, that disappointment, it is real, it is valid, it deserves to be honored, acknowledged, and felt without judgment. But it cannot, under any circumstances, become your permanent home, your spiritual address, or the anchor that prevents you from sailing forward. And this leads us to something most people miss entirely: a profound layer of truth, often buried beneath superficial understanding. The grief isn't just about the lost time, the years that seem to have vanished without the expected fruit, or the broken relationships that left scars on your heart, or the dreams that dissolved into mist, scattering into the winds of change. The grief, at its deepest, most fundamental level, is about the specific version of yourself you had to let die, a part of your identity you were forced to shed in order to become the person you are right now, standing on the precipice of this new beginning. Every genuine transformation, every radical metamorphosis requires a death. Not a metaphorical inconvenience, not a slight adjustment, but an actual, profound dying of something that once defined you, a core aspect of your being that no longer serves the higher self you are becoming. It's the death of your identity before the fire of trials refined you. It's the loss of your unblemished confidence before the betrayal shattered your assumptions. It's the shedding of your innocent worldview before the hard lessons of life imprinted their wisdom upon you. Those specific parts of you, those former versions, do not get resurrected in their original form. They are transmuted, transformed. And mourning them is not a sign of weakness. It is, in fact, a deeply sacred act. It is the courageous acknowledgement that what you went through was undeniably real, that it cut to the bone, that it cost you something immeasurable, and that you paid a spiritual, emotional, and psychological price that most people will never truly understand or appreciate. It's an act of deep self-compassion. But the moment you authentically honor that grief, fully facing its depth instead of frantically running from its discomfort, something profoundly shifts in the spiritual atmosphere around you. Because grief that is acknowledged, integrated, and faced squarely becomes potent fuel. It transmutes its sorrow into strength, its pain into purpose, its loss into profound wisdom. And fuel, especially the kind forged in the crucible of deep soul work, in the hands of someone heaven has unequivocally marked for a magnificent destiny, is not a small thing. It is an explosive, catalytic force. In just a moment, we'll reach the deepest, most transformative layer of this truth, the one that most people never get to because they stop short, clinging to the surface, and it's the one that changes absolutely everything about your trajectory. Because here's where the most profound confrontation begins. The moment of reckoning with a subtle yet powerful internal block. You have, perhaps unconsciously, been waiting for permission. Maybe you didn't consciously label it that way in your waking thoughts. Maybe you called it confirmation, a divine green light, or the perfect timing, or simply waiting for the right, undeniable opportunity to present itself. But underneath those carefully chosen words, if you press past the surface-level rationalizations, what's truly there, pulsating at the core of your being, is a deep, unspoken, soul-aching need for someone, anyone, to tell you that you are explicitly allowed to step forward, to claim your power, to move into your destiny, that you are fundamentally qualified despite your perceived flaws and past mistakes, that you are truly ready even if your knees are knocking and your heart is racing, that you are, indeed, enough, exactly as you are, divinely crafted and perfectly imperfect. And the reason you've been waiting for that external permission, holding your breath, is because at some pivotal point in your life, often in your formative years, the most important people in your life, those who held authority or influence, subtly or overtly withheld it. They didn't genuinely celebrate your unique gifts. They didn't consistently affirm your intrinsic worth. They didn't speak the words of encouragement and validation that your burgeoning spirit desperately needed to hear when it mattered most. leaving a profound void. And so, like a thirsty traveler in a desert, your soul went looking for what it didn't receive, for that missing validation, for that missing permission, and it's been looking, often relentlessly, ever since, projecting that need onto every new person, every new situation. But let me challenge you with a radical, liberating truth that will shatter those old paradigms. The permission you've been so patiently, so desperately waiting for it was never, ever theirs to give in the first place. Not your parents, not your teachers, not your ex-partners, not your critics, not even the most well-meaning mentors. It was always intrinsically, eternally, yours to claim, yours to take, a birthright imprinted on your soul. And the very moment you finally stop waiting for another human being, a finite and flawed entity, to unlock what heaven, in its infinite wisdom and boundless grace, already authorized for you, the entire spiritual atmosphere around your life begins to palpably shift. The gravitational pull of old limitations loosens its grip. This is not arrogance or egoic assertion. This is profound, sacred alignment. There is a fundamental, divinely inspired difference between someone who presumptuously reaches for more than they have been authentically given, driven by ambition alone, and someone who, with quiet confidence and deep knowing, finally steps fully and unequivocally into what was already meticulously prepared, already ordained for them, awaiting their conscious embrace. You, my friend, are not reaching in desperation. You are arriving, with divine timing, into the fullness of your predestined reality. This arrival is not a struggle. It is a homecoming. Now here's the part that will likely unsettle something deep within you, perhaps a tightly held, unconscious belief, because it's the profound truth no one ever dares to say out loud, the elephant in the spiritual room. The primary thing that has actually been blocking you, acting as an invisible barrier to your breakthrough, is not the enemy operating externally. It's not your past, however traumatic or regret-filled. It's not the people who hurt you, whose wounds linger. It's not even the specific doors that relentlessly closed in your face, or the seasons that felt like they went on for far too long, stretching your patience to its absolute limit. No, the thing that has been most powerfully, most insidiously blocking you is your deep, often unconscious, familiarity with struggle itself. You have lived inside the cramped, challenging confines of difficulty, hardship, and perpetual striving for so long that true, effortless peace has, paradoxically, started to feel suspicious, almost alien. Sustained progress has begun to feel fragile, like a delicate glass ornament, always on the verge of shattering. Breakthrough, a genuine, undeniable shift in your favor, has started to feel like something that exclusively happens to other people, to the lucky, the blessed, the chosen, never to you. And without even fully realizing it, without conscious intention, you have meticulously built your entire sense of self, your very identity, around the version of yourself that endures, that survives, that constantly battles and overcomes, not the version of yourself that effortlessly receives, that truly thrives, that embraces unmerited grace. Your spiritual muscle memory is tuned for the fight, not the embrace. Endurance, let us be clear, is an incredible, invaluable gift. It is a divine strength forged in the fires of adversity, a testament to your resilience and the power of the spirit within you. But endurance was never, ever supposed to be your permanent address, your lifelong residence. It was a temporary shelter, a training ground, a proving stage. There comes a definitive moment, a sacred turning point in every journey, when God stops asking you to merely hold on, to grit your teeth and continue striving, and starts asking you, with profound love and unwavering conviction, to finally let go. To let go of the survival posture, the weary stance of constant battle, to let go of the ingrained habit of constant bracing for the next blow, the next disappointment, to let go of the identity that was intricately forged in the fires of pain, betrayal, and struggle, and courageously step into the magnificent, unfettered identity that was divinely designed for you before pain ever found you, before sorrow ever touched your soul, before the world imposed its limitations upon you. That true identity, your original blueprint, is not naive. It has seen too much to be ignorant of suffering. It is not soft or easily broken. It has been through too much to be either. But it is profoundly, unequivocally free. And freedom, pure, unburdened, expansive freedom, after this long, arduous journey through the wilderness of self-doubt and unlived expectations, is the one thing you almost forgot how to truly want, how to genuinely yearn for, how to unequivocally claim. And here's the unexpected truth that will profoundly reframe everything you've just heard, shifting your perspective entirely. The sign you meticulously asked for, the one you've been diligently searching for, praying for, waiting for this message right now, in its raw, potent form, wasn't it? This wasn't the initial sign. This was, in fact, the undeniable confirmation that you already knew the answer, that the truth was dwelling within you all along, simply obscured. The true sign came long before this very moment. It came in the quiet, persistent thing that wouldn't leave your spirit, that stubborn whisper of purpose, even when you desperately tried to silence it, to drown it out with logic or distraction. It came in the door that miraculously stayed open, a beacon of hope, even when you, in your fear or confusion, intentionally walked away from it, convinced it wasn't for you. It came in the divinely appointed person who spoke profound words of life and destiny into you, whose voice cut through the noise, when you were too broken, too fragmented, too wounded to even believe their powerful words yourself. Most powerfully, it came in your own miraculous survival, because people who are not truly called, people who are not divinely marked for a purpose beyond their current understanding, do not survive what you have survived, do not endure what you have endured, do not rise from the ashes as many times as you have. The sign was always in you, an inherent truth, an undeniable spiritual signature. And God, in His infinite wisdom and boundless grace, sent you here not to show you something entirely new, not to introduce a foreign concept, but to gently, powerfully remind you of what you already profoundly knew, deep within your bones, and simply stopped trusting, stopped believing in. You are not behind in your divine timeline. You are not forgotten in the grand tapestry of creation. You are not too broken to be restored, too late to fulfill your purpose, too much for God's grace, or too far gone for His redemptive hand to reach you. Absolutely not. You are precisely, perfectly, divinely where a person has to be before heaven repositions everything, before the celestial currents shift, before the next magnificent chapter of your destiny fully unfolds. And the repositioning, the realignment, the miraculous rearrangement of circumstances and spiritual energies has already unequivocally begun. Feel it, believe it, claim it. Place your hand on your heart now, connecting with the sacred chamber of your spirit, and declare these powerful truths with me, allowing each word to resonate with the deepest core of your being. I release the grief of what I thought my life was supposed to look like, the heavy weight of unfulfilled expectations and phantom futures. I release the permission I've been waiting for, the external validation I sought from people who were never authorized by heaven to give it. I release my agreement with delay, with limitation, with worthlessness, and with the insidious lie that I am somehow exempt from the overflowing goodness, the divine favor, the abundant blessings that are powerfully moving toward me right now. I receive my true identity, not the fragmented one forged in pain, loss, and trauma, but the pristine, magnificent one written in the scrolls of heaven before I was even born, before time began. I step forward, not when I feel entirely ready, for perfect readiness is an illusion. Not when every shadow of fear disappears, for courage is often found in the presence of fear. Not when every single question is neatly answered, for faith thrives in the mystery. I step forward now, in this very moment, with unwavering resolve, because the sign has already been given. The path has already been meticulously prepared by divine hands, and I have already survived everything that was strategically sent to stop me. I am chosen, irrevocably chosen, by the Creator of all that is. I am rooted for, championed by the very cosmos, and I am walking, with grace and power, into every open door that heaven has specifically placed in my path starting today, starting right now. If this message moved something profound in you, if it cracked open a new understanding or ignited a dormant fire, don't let it settle back into the silence of forgotten inspiration. Share it with someone who desperately needs to hear it, whose spirit is crying out for this exact truth. Leave a word in the comments. Tell me what landed deep in your soul, what broke open within you, what old belief or heavy burden you are courageously releasing in this moment. Your authentic testimony, your vulnerability, is not just your story, it is a vital part of someone else's much-needed sign, a beacon of hope for another soul. And if you're ready to go even deeper, to fully immerse yourself in what God is powerfully unlocking in this extraordinary season of your life, to truly embody your divine blueprint and prophetic assignment, everything you need to continue this sacred journey is waiting for you in the first pinned comment below.